Hello and welcome to IFy Atelier. My name is Ify. And if you're wondering what IFy Atelier means, where it comes from, and why any of this exists, that is exactly what this video is about. IFy Atelier is a name that carries a lot of quiet meaning. Ify is short for Ifeyinwa, my Igbo name, given to me by my paternal grandmother, so my father's mother. In the Igbo language of southeastern Nigeria, Ifeyinwa means there is nothing as beautiful as a child. That's the poetic translation. The literal word-for-word translation goes along the lines of it looks like a child, which, depending on who you ask, may or may not be a compliment. The story of how I got that name is one of my favorites. My arrival into the world was, by all accounts, not a gentle one. I broke my mother's hip on the way out. She reminds me of this regularly, especially when I'm being annoying, which tends to be all the time. So she was in hospital for days recovering after giving birth to me. And while everyone was understandably fussing over my mom, my paternal grandmother, my father's mom, was there with me. She was the one who saw me first in the truest sense and gave me my name, Ifeyinwa. My mother, for her part, also gave me her own name, a tribute, I imagine, to the blood, sweat and tears she endured bringing me into this world. I think she more than earned it. I did break her hip after all, So, my names carries both of them, my mother and my paternal grandmother, held together in one person, me. And IFy Atelier carries them both quietly. The A in the Atelier is a subtle nod to my mother's name, passed down to me. The FA honors the name my paternal grandmother gave me in that quiet hospital room. And Atelier, a French word meaning studio or workshop, bridges my African heritage and my wider European heritage. So, 3 worlds, 1 name, 1 creative studio, or home. IFy Atelier was built to honor the women who made me. My mother, my paternal grandmother, so my father's mother, my maternal grandmother, my mother's mother, and my maternal great-grandmother, my mother's mother's mother, or something like that. She also helped raise me. So these women across generations were forces to be reckoned with, and I hope I have inherited half of their strength. IFy Atelier was created in last year, so late 2025, last summer, during one of the more difficult periods of my life. It had been a hard year, and I had experienced significant stress, and what I can only describe as a degree of institutional and personal challenges that took a great toll, unfortunately. And I'm not going to dwell on it here because that's not what this channel is about. But I mention it because it is honest and because what came out of that period is everything you see here. During that time, I found myself turning to adult coloring books and coloring apps as a way to decompress. There was something genuinely grounding about slowing down, picking up a pencil, or an eye pencil, as in like an Apple pencil, and focusing on a single page and letting everything else go quiet for a while. But as I colored, I kept noticing something missing. There were countless of adult coloring books available, beautiful ones, but very few explored African locations in a way that felt thoughtful, educational, or visually meaningful to me. And from my background working in healthcare and elderly care, I already knew how powerful coloring books could be, used regularly in care settings to support relaxation, focus, and gentle engagement for older adults and those living with cognitive deficits like dementia. That gap stayed with me, so I built something to fill it. And the result is the iconic African coloring book series. So there they are, volume 1 and volume 2. So there's volume 1, you can see, that's volume 1, and volume 2, I know, that's volume 2. Okay, And each of these volumes, okay, features 25 real locations across the African continent. So you've got North, West, Central, East, and Southern Africa, with no location repeating across the series. Every illustration is paired with a short contextual note, just enough to inform, to keep curiosity, and to encourage conversation, without interrupting the coloring experience. The books are designed for adults, I'm afraid, but they're also accessible enough to be shared across generations, between grandparents and grandchildren, between carers and the people they care for, between anyone who wants a quiet, meaningful, screen-free activity that also connects them to culture and peace and place. Oh, and peace. They are currently available to order online through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Waterstone, Abbey Books, the Great British Bookshop, and other major retailers. Every order generally helps build toward wider availability. So if the series resonates with you, ordering through any of those platforms makes a real difference. Ify Atelier is more than a coloring book series. It's a creative studio and publishing imprint. The iconic African Locations coloring book series is the beginning. Volume 3 and 4 are already in progress. But the longer version for Ify Atelier is much bigger than that. For I'm currently writing a fictional novel series called Collateral Identity, which explores identity, belonging, and the experience of living between worlds. And through the Ify Atelier Substack and the Ify Atelier website, ifyatelier.com, I write about creativity, culture, and life as an ethnic minority in Northern Ireland. Ify Atelier exists to document and showcase work that matters, work that is culturally grounded, thoughtfully made, and built to last. And in time, I hope it becomes a platform that gives voice to other writers, creators, and artists whose work deserves to be seen. That work begins here. As Mental Health Awareness Month has ended, I wanted to say something clearly. Every day is a day to take your mental health seriously, not just in May. For me, coloring was one small part of finding my way back to steadiness during a difficult time. It will not be for everyone, obviously, but the principle behind it matters. The idea of choosing deliberately to stay away from screens and noise and pressure, and to do something slow, quiet, and just for yourself. So whatever that looks like that to you, whether it's coloring, reading, going outside, touching grass, cooking, or simply sitting still, please do not treat it as a luxury. Treat it as maintenance or a checkup, self-checkup of sorts. So get your adequate rest, move your body, eat well, stay hydrated, protect your peace. And if you're looking for a place to start, there are 2 coloring books here waiting for you to order or buy. So to round us up, thank you for being here. If you would like to follow the journey, the books, the process, and the stories behind the work, and everything still to come, you can find Ify Atelier across social media, YouTube, Substack, LinkedIn, and at ifyatelier.com, the official website. So subscribe, follow, or connect wherever you are watching this. I am Ify, and this is Ify Atelier, celebrating culture through creativity. Thank you.